is around educational provision in the area. Next, very inspired and guided, pulled, however, by a great teacher, Paulo Freire, who teaches us that there is no change without dream, as there is no dream without hope. And this is a leitmotif of this workshop today. So after the talk, I would like us to work, how to say, in maybe small groups, with these three elements, one being the change, the other being the dream, and the third one being the hope. We realized that there is not a hierarchical relationship in between these elements, but rather a dialectical one. And as we can see later in the workshop, quite often it is not that that there is hope at the very beginning, and then we are following that this leads us to some sort of dreams, which will then eventually lead us to a change. In our case, as you now saw, there was a big change that has a very negative connotation that was how to say, that caused a great deal of hope among us in identifying the possible way out. For us, the possible way out of this insane situation where neighbors live in some kind of conflictual situation to one another beyond the poverty is we found in the generations that are about to come. And therefore we base our work with and among them. And then if one thing I would like you to remember after this presentation and this workshop, it is this sentence, and maybe this drawing will help you to memorize. I don't know how you memorize things, but I would like to show on the example of our work in the area. I intentionally didn't want to now talk about all the activities we do there. I just wanted to make an overview of the context and of the reasoning behind why we are doing these things. And now in just a few images, you will maybe get also a tangible feeling of how these activities look like. In order to start this process of working with children, we deliberately decided to use the only open public space in the area, which is the school courtyard, and we open it up for all children of the area. In this circle, there are kids from these different households. This is the photo from 2016, which is the image from the first summer school we organized in the area, which we called symbolically the School Laboratory 001. This 001 also shows about or talks about our intention. Our intention is to last over there, not to do something that is within any project framework with any project expectation that has a beginning and an end. For us, this process does not have an end, and we are looking forward to the change we are dreaming today that will come when these kids come where I am here today. And in that respect, maybe the next slide would be, this now goes, I think, as GIF, it should be. So these are just images for the last 3 years where we organize every summer school. So whenever school doesn't work, we work in the area. We work with very limited budgets. The first activities we started to do, we did with our pocket money, so no institution behind. We put our money on the table and we said, okay, what we can do with this money? And we made a surprise for the whole neighborhood, worked in between 3 in the morning until 6 in the morning in one night. And we made colorful drawings around the area and left colorful chalk on every crossing of the neighborhood for kids on this height, so something that they can see. And the next morning, the whole neighborhood or kids from the whole neighborhood were engaged in making drawings and talking about this. So for us, this is also a surprise moment. was important because in a situation where everybody is on a daily basis struggling to survive and to sustain, these surprise moments are also very important. I will ask one back and then one forward, just to see the back, and then again. So I can maybe comment on some of them. These are the images from the summer school where we worked in different groups, where children could actually meet each other and work on something together. And then we had different guests from the cities. Slowly we raised attention from the authorities and from professional community, which bring us these images that, if you can see, shared cities. It's a trans-European project of 11 organizations from 6 different countries working together on this idea of shared cities. And we got funding to develop a participatory design process in which we will improve one open public space in the area. When we got the funding, we didn't know what how it would end up. The image we are seeing is from the grand opening of the new collectively designed and built infrastructure. And this image is from this is a theater play that the children managed to develop for their neighbors, parents, neighbors, and wider public. And it is the first such event in the history of this place that happened, that brought together, as you can see, the elderly people from the area, and that created a completely new dynamic. What is even more important than this is that it is a unique embodiment of the existence or of this collective effort of children of this area to, for 3 years, endure in working on something together and building it up. Nowadays, this place stands over there. Every day it reminds everybody around that these children exist and they're about to come, and that they're bringing a great change to this area. And maybe one more slide. I just wanted to use one slide. This is a girl, Selma, who ended up on national television live broadcasting from the grand opening of this place. We didn't invite any media to come. We never invited anybody to support us. We just did the thing over there, far away from the eyes of the public, and yet they arrived. And this is what she said without any, I mean, we didn't even know that they interviewed her. And I somehow take these words as concluding words for this short presentation. You can read yourself, but for me the most powerful one is the last paragraph, saying that with all of this we have proved that if we all come together, we can do all of this, and not that we can only do it, we can do it very fast. And for me this was the biggest learning experience. And they proved to the whole world that this school is worth investing. This school is worth attending. This school is worth co-creating further and living it throughout every day. And the last slide, which is again the repetition of the one we saw before, I would now like to keep this slide over here and to briefly, I don't know how much of time we have left until the end of the, okay, so the group is small, so it will be possible to do it. What I would like us to do, and maybe as I talk, I will make a small drawing so that you also can follow what is the idea. I would like us to divide in 3 groups. So the 3 groups will be so one group will be the group called Change. One group will be called Dream. And the last group will be Hope. So maybe I do just a very quick counting, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you can come together in small circles or like come closer to each other according to the number you get. So is it okay? Do you all understand me? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this will be 1, this will be 2, and this will be 3. So I would, but before you just remember the number, I would like to explain what will happen in this. So I would like each of these groups, and this is now a bit tricky thing because we are speaking different languages, but I hope this will be possible to do. Each group should now, after hearing the story and after understanding this dialectic relationship between these three elements, start thinking about and bringing his or her own experience. So you are all part of some processes. You are all doing something in this world. I would like you to bring your experience from your worlds and talk about, in group 1, change. So what kind of change processes you're part of? Or what do you change on your short-term, mid-term, or very long-term, like in this case here? So group of change should talk about change. Group of dreams should talk about what kind of dreams you dream throughout these processes. What are your dreams from your experiences and from your contexts? And there are no exact answers to this, so feel free to talk about your dreams. And the third group should try to think about what makes you hopeful every day in your efforts. Yeah, okay, so what makes you hopeful? This is enough of input. And then we will dedicate, like now that we are not that many, maybe 10 minutes is already okay for this, 10 to 15 minutes to the first circle. And then my idea was we combine people from each one of these groups to come together. So there is one person from here, one person from here, but this can be also more people from each group, like 2 and 2, to come together and to form new kind of group, where on this small group they will talk about their dreams that they talked about here, their hopes and their change. And therefore, what come out from this inner circle, for which we can also dedicate 10 to 15 minutes, will be the result of this workshop. And we can then maybe take one to illustrate here. And yeah, I would like with this to conclude. Is this all clear for everybody? Okay, so can you now maybe form this 3 groups, and I can maybe just go around to see how it goes if I can help somehow, but basically it will be then work of each group to talk about this. I can help. So here is number 2, 1 over there, and 3. Okay, you're 2 here. 3, you are 3 over there. Maybe you can be there in that corner.
say your name and a little presentation. Yeah. Okay. Bien, para mí es importante en París que todos los académicos se apropien piensan que ver lo que está en mano, dinero, controlar su dinero, el trabajo que hace, no es posible. Y el trabajo es caro. Lo que quiero es que se pone una regla, lo hago. Sobre la participación, para que hoy veamos 35
Is it on?
It is on.
pienso que
They will tell me what they thought. Thanks. I'm sorry for interrupting. This is not the intention. Just 1 minute, and we will then make another round. 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes, of course. Are you close? Okay, 2 minutes. It's okay. Okay. You are also ready. May I please then ask you now just to come back to some kind of, maybe just to open a bit so that, because the idea is now to bring some insights from each of these groups and to write them down, and instead of me talking about them, I would like then to give microphone to each of these groups to bring in some of the points you talked about when you talked about hope, change and dreams. And then in the last round we can maybe make some kind of collective run through or in between to see where are the possible connections in between these three elements. So maybe you just open a bit. It doesn't have to be now back as we used to sit together, but I would maybe like to I don't know, there is no hierarchy in this. I will just maybe ask this group here first to tell us which group you were and some kind of dreams. But it's nice to start from dreams. Who of you would like to? And you can also do in which language you, I have a translation so I can follow.
Bueno, mi lengua materna es alemán, entonces, bueno, eso no lo puedo hablar. Voy a intentar hacerlo en español y creo que nuestros sueños se vinculan como a tres temas. Uno es el de la participación de la ciudadanía, de colectivos, de una sociedad que, y eso es el segundo tema, que es educada. Y el tema de la educación ha sido muy fuerte, de la educación popular, de la educación en municipios, de las personas que trabajan en servicios públicos. Y el tercer punto es el que nosotros en nuestros sueños de alguna manera nos vinculamos a un cambio dentro de un gobierno, no a crear estructuras que sean fuera, pero estructuras donde la comunidad forma parte, o como la cuarta, ¿cómo lo dijiste? El cuarto nivel de gobierno, de alguna manera, y aquí en el Côte d'Ivoire también de cómo mejorar el tema del presupuesto participativo en escala, pero también es un sueño que es dentro del gobierno. Entonces esto creo que son los tres ejes, la participación, la educación y el cambio dentro del gobierno. ¿Sí? ¿Alguien quiere agregar?
En español, si quieren, y con la traducción, ¿qué tal? Me gusta hablar en nombre de este grupo. Compartimos nuestras experiencias muy ricas, algunas ejemplares, como la compañera de Mozambique. Y lo que tenemos en común es que todos hemos trabajado desde distintos lugares, desde asociaciones, desde gobierno, desde esfuerzos colectivos, para cambiar una situación desfavorable. Esto es, algunos tienen que ver con dejar atrás una situación de violencia normalizada o de acoso o de pobreza y exclusión o de discriminación por discapacidades o por cuestión étnica. Esto es tomar una situación social que excluye y que margina a alguien y transformarla en una mejoría y en un cambio de esta condición social a través de gobierno, a través del esfuerzo civil, pero lograr este cambio. Creo que es todo.
Hola. Bueno, nosotras la mayoría somos mexicanos, excepto aquí la londinés que tenemos acompañándonos. Nosotros recuperamos lo que tenemos dentro, compartirlo. Compartir privilegios desde nuestra postura de mujer, desde la línea de nuestras ancestras. Compartir y caminar con los niños de la mano, eso nos da esperanza. Esperanza en los cambios de estructura, que da oportunidad de apropiarse y compartirse. Esperanza de hacer algo distinto. Sin cambio no hay esperanza. Cuidando el impulso para ver esta humanidad desde el compromiso, cuidar el medio ambiente, compartir nuestros saberes y privilegios, permeándonos de realidades y carencias de nuestro territorio. Empatía entre nosotras, las mujeres, compartiendo, co-creando y rizomando. Iniciar por uno mismo, compartiendo. Se hace una cadena de buenas acciones, las mujeres sembramos semillas.
Thank you very much. Well, I just wrote down some of the things you have said, and rather than concluding this session anyhow, there is no conclusion about this. This is one mechanism, and I illustrate it like this. Maybe there is another it could maybe look even differently, but we now identified certain things, and I will now just maybe try to summarize what happened here, but you will go back to your respective surroundings and you will continue participating in some kind of change processes. You will continue being inspired by some kind of hopeful actions, and you will, I hope, continue dreaming of a world that is yet to come. And we today talked about change as something that has to happen, if I understood correctly, in multiple settings, and slowly but surely it will occur. Here and there, now I come from Belgrade, which is a very distant place from here, and I'm able to be part of the change that is happening here nowadays. This change will be mostly about inclusion, different sorts of inclusion. We learned today that the hopeful actions or the hopeful settings in which we are working are those in which we share. So this inclusion potentially can learn a lot about this everyday sharing experiences. As you said, just holding somebody for hand is already sharing this, and that's maybe the most simple way of doing it. However, there are many more complex ways and more meaningful ways where, and I completely agree with the idea of sharing privilege. We live in a world of sharp discrepancy in between those with and those without privilege, being it a gender division among us, being it social, political, ethnic, or any other division. The sharing of this privilege, and these privileges are also shifting. I noticed by crossing for the first time of my life the ocean and leaving the surrounding in which and even though I'm from this area, so locally I didn't enjoy so much of privilege in my life. And then it was through education, and then that I encountered certain other settings where I started encountering privilege. And then I tried to work with this idea of sharing privilege, how to bring for Serbian surrounding international research institution to come to finance some of the work done in the area. And this is how, for example, one part of this sharing of the privilege can happen, but there are many multiple ways. And I very much am this idea of searching for hope, transgender resonate with me, and I think it is one important contribution of this workshop here today. And we also learned today that we mostly dream about participation and different forms of being included in the processes of city making and living in the city. And I personally dream this every single day about the new educational system that will be powerful enough that we don't have to talk about participation anymore. With this, maybe I will close. I would just like to thank all of you for this active and very inspiring participation. And I would like to, as an end, to I brought it from Belgrade. We just published, the Skograd Collective just published a book that summarizes, or it's a unique opportunity for us after 3 years of working on something to have an opportunity to step out of this very difficult setting and on some sort of meta level to talk about all the things we experienced over there. Because with this almost now 4 years of working in the area, we became quite informed about processes over there, and we think that we have something to say, and this book is a proof of it. And I brought 3 pieces, and I will be very happy to give it as a present to 3 of your groups, and within your group you can decide who from the group should take it, who will find it the most useful. And I will be also happy to send the book to any of you if there is this interest with post or something, I don't know, we can see, or a PDF we have, of course, so you can take a look at them. And thank you very much. I'm looking forward to meet you and talk with you later. So one for you. One for you. And one for you.